two, one. Broadcasting tape delayed from a sweatshop in Japan. The Sports Economy Show is on. Today, Ryan and myself are discussing championship merchandise that is handed out on the field, except it's not handed out on the field because it has the loser's logo on it. Have you ever thought about that? Everybody thinks like, what happens to the losers stuff, because they got both teams, right? You're ready to go. So somebody has to lose. I actually watched an ESPN video that they made about it, also known as the Mothership, in 2010, I think it was, because that's when New England, if they'd have won the Super Bowl, they would have been 19-0, and they didn't win. So there's this whole thing about this, that, and the other. So they got rid of the stuff. Anyway, have you ever really considered all this, Ryan? Or is it just
I've
silly?
never thought about it too much, but I guess that tells you that sports isn't rigged. I mean, they waste the money to have the losing teams
Yeah. Well,
here.
it's
You
not
know?
it's not that much money, but yeah. I read somewhere it was like 400 t-shirts and hats, something like that for the teams. So anyway, but here's also one, the NCAA championship just wrapped up, and I believe you picked the correct team. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I'm like, you don't remember that? I don't remember picking that team. You picked that team because I remember you telling me Florida is going to win.
Yeah,
Yes, okay.
I think that's the first
So,
time I got the winning team right, if I that I remember.
oh yeah, okay. Well, in order to get all this stuff printed out, they would have to start printing it on Monday for the final four teams, wouldn't you think? Because you got to get, say, 400 shirts and hats and other sort of things printed and then shipped to the location because, they're not
Well,
printing it on
they got
site.
stuff. They got to have stuff ready before the for the Elite Eight because they get Final Four stuff too. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah, they do. So, yeah, so that's a whole nother thing. That's
Yeah.
true. They would have to print that up before the 16. Yeah, because they have, Auburn going to the Final Four that they're giving out at the Elite Eight. Man, they
Yeah,
print up a lot of
it's a
stuff.
big deal. They give them shirts and hats and all that for them too.
Yeah, yeah.
That I wouldn't think, if you go to Sweet 16 or Elite Eight, I wouldn't think you'd get anything for that. But I'm sure they make shirts for the fans, like later on, because
Yeah,
that's as far as they made it. Oh, Auburn Sweet 16,
yeah.
2025.
Well, yeah. This is just stuff that they have right there at
Right,
the end
right.
of the game. So the NFL and I'm sure Major League Baseball and everybody else, they have a charity called
Like three good.
360 something. Good 360. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Because I looked it up. And they take that stuff and they distribute it in Asia and other parts of Europe, I believe. And you can't sell any of that on eBay or anything else, or you will get in serious. They'll take you to court over selling that. So yeah, eBay or none of these other sites, Etsy or anything, they won't allow any of that to be sold. You know, so it's always just been something interesting to most people. Like, what do they do with all that stuff? And ESPN, the mothership, did a whole show about it. You know,
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I've always heard that, it goes overseas, but I was kind of thinking more like, Mexico or El Salvador and all, which
yeah.
I'm pretty sure they probably get it from China, I guess. I'm pretty sure they get that stuff too. I don't know where I've seen or heard, but I don't
Well,
know, maybe
in
they distribute it.
well in that ESPN video, they were in Nicaragua, which is in Central America, where that stuff went. But since then, the Good 360 says they can only take it to another continent. They can't take it to South America. It can only go out there somewhere because they can't have it come back. Can't have it come back into America for sale, you know. So I
You
don't. I
know,
mean, I don't do what.
I was gonna say while we're on that subject of Houston and Florida, I noticed. Did you know? See what logo was on their hats and shirts? So both of them are Jordan schools. So
Oh,
that's
so
either one won. So somebody, it, whoever lost, you still get a Jordan
okay,
hat. Yeah,
okay. So they're not just Nike. They're Jordan schools.
yeah.
Yeah.
They wear all Jordan on their
Okay.
sport
Yeah.
jerseys.
Yeah. As we did that show, is Jordan, the Jordan brand outsells Nike. Of course, I mean it's all part of the deal, but people would rather have the Jordan logo instead of the Nike little
Mhm.
swoosh emblem. So hey, more power to him. I think he made close to $250 million last year because just because he has his logo out there. That's a pretty good deal, you know. So anyway, it's just interesting that they won't let any of that stuff back in the United States. You can't get a hold of it. I'm sure if you printed up your own T-shirt that your team won the national championship and they didn't, you know. I, actually, I knew somebody. There's a woman basketball player for a college. She was trying to get a tattoo of the Jordan dunk, because her last name was Jordan, and they wouldn't do it exactly. They had to change something. I may have mentioned this before. They had to change a little part of the way his leg was angled or something because it's trademarked down to that. So,
Yeah, I've seen somebody had a Jordan tattoo and they had it backwards.
oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah, like the ball or something was on the other side, and you couldn't
Okay.
really tell once you like just really focused in on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just walked
Because
by,
that's,
oh, it's a Jordan tattoo.
yeah, because that's the
There
deal.
was there was an NBA player named Marcin Gortat. I think that was his first name. Played for the Washington Wizards for a while. He had a big Jordan logo on the side of his leg, and he
Yeah.
had a shoe deal with somebody else. He signed a shoe deal, so they made him like wear his socks over the Jordan logo.
That's funny. Yeah.
That's huge. You couldn't miss it. Big white legs.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, when you're such a big deal that people want to tattoo your logo on themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he wasn't even American. That's how
Yeah.
big. Worldwide.
He is worldwide, man. So anyway, well, that's all I got for the little blurb on where losing championship team sports memorabilia goes. Anyway, I ought to try to scour the internet to see if I can find some someday. Like,
Yeah. There's had to been some make it back over here at
you
some
know,
point. Uh,
like the Los Angeles Lakers losing the 1990 champion, winning the 1990 championship over the Chicago Bulls or something like that, which they did, and they lost four straight to Michael Jordan's Chicago Bulls. So I would think there's something somewhere, And I did look up on the internet, and they were just showing that all the logos that they have printed out, the for the T-shirts and hats, they have to make these logos up, for this team winning, that team winning. They were just showing some pictures of all that stuff. So it's
only
out there, but you can't get it.
yeah, if somebody did have it and somebody was the only people that would care would be the NCAA, and
Yeah,
that communist organization. What are they going to do? Threaten to take the shirt off?
that's
And
that's
but
right.
how can they possibly get in trouble? They ain't going to know where they got the shirt. If
No, no.
if
It,
somebody's wearing that shirt, they have no idea about sports. Like they don't know who won.
yeah.
What are they going to do?
Yeah. Mainly what their whole deal is they don't want it going up for sale on a website. That's really what it is. They don't want
Yeah.
somebody selling it on Etsy or eBay or something like that. They just want to get rid of it. But
Yeah.
if you can get somebody to make a shirt for you, that your team won the national championship when they finished second, whatever. So something like that.
I guarantee you we're the only ones on the internet tonight talking about this subject.
Oh yes, nobody else is talking about this.
Oh,
This this is something everybody thinks about, but nobody ever really talks about it.
yeah.
So, like I
Yeah.
said, the mothership did a video on it. I'll link the video down in the description. So if you want to watch that video of where this stuff goes, because it's always been an interesting thing. But I was trying to figure that out the other day. It's like they got to print all that stuff up for the Final Four, and you brought up the Final Eight a week before and have it shipped there, so it's on hand. I wonder if any of those folks that hand that out take some of the losing stuff. you
If you
know,
think about it, that's that's 8 teams they got to make stuff for because they don't know who's going to make the Final Four.
yeah, they have no idea. So yeah, they got to make all that stuff. Yeah, so
That's a lot of shirts.
that's what we should do. We should look this up, see if we can get one, and then we'll proudly display it in the background back here. Duke wins the 2025 national championship. Yeah.
I'll tell you what shirt you need to find is 2014 Kentucky Wildcat national champions because that's
That's
the year
right.
the runners up that year
Yeah,
against
yeah.
UConn. You can find
I'll
that
see
one.
if I'll see if I can find that shirt. The 2014 UK National Championship team. I'll see what's out there. It might be out there, man. So, all right. Well, that's all I got for tonight, or today, or wherever we're broadcasting. Because we're in a sweatshop in China, or a sweatshop in Japan. I'm sorry, I said China, Japan, where they make this championship logo that's never going to be sold to anybody. All right. Well, that's all I got. So remember, folks, like and subscribe so we can make a gazillion dollars so we can print up T-shirts that have Sports Economy 101 with my name on it, Ryan's name on it, and a couple other yahoos.
And hats too.
So long. And hats too, yes. Well, I tell you what, that Cardinal hat you got there ain't looking so hot these days.
Ah man, they man, you know, 4 of the games they've lost been in extra innings. They can't.
Okay, okay, if you want to feel good about that, you go right ahead. A loss is a loss, ain't it? Do
Yeah,
what?
yeah. I guess it makes you feel better. If all 4 of their 5 losses are extra inning, or 7 losses, 5, 6 or 7, whatever.
They just they just went 1-5 on a road trip.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was pretty pathetic.
it's
And
pretty pathetic.
they've gotten over 10 hits in all of them, which is really that's terrible pitching.
Yeah. Well, the Cardinals' offense is pretty good. Their
Yeah,
pitching's just not.
I will say their hitting approach. They got a new hitting coach. Their hitting approach is a ton better than last year because
Yeah.
they didn't have the guys that hit home runs, and that's what they were trying to do. And they did a see ball, hit ball, small ball, and it's
Yeah.
helped a lot.
Yeah.
Pretty solid defense. They just need to tighten the pitching up. They'll be all right.
Well, we'll see how that goes. So, all right. So long, everybody. Remember, like and subscribe. Goodbye.
So long, everybody.